That's one small step for man.
Out for the out for the.
Being a quiet child and what it may actually mean. When you picture a reactive child or overwhelmed child, what's the first image that pops into your head? Well, for most of us, it's noise. Slamming doors, raised voices, crying, etc. When a meltdown happens in a house, everybody knows it demands our immediate attention. But today, I want to kind of talk about different kind of emotional reactivity, one that rarely makes a sound. I'm talking about the child who gets a bad grade back and just stares at the floor. The teenager who gets embarrassed at a family gathering and suddenly stops talking completely. Or the kid struggling with math homework who puts down the pencil, crosses their arms, folds their laptop closed, and sits like a statue. Looks like nothing's happening, but inward these kids are often experiencing an absolute storm. We're diving into what happens when a child's nervous system turns the volume all the way down and how we can teach them when they shut us out. When a child goes quiet, it is so easy for adults to misinterpret what they're seeing. She's just being stubborn. He doesn't care. She's shutting me down on purpose. That's understandable why parents would react that way, but here's the truth. That outward silence is rarely indifference. It's often an invisible wall built to protect a mind that feels like it's collapsing under pressure. These kids are usually overthinking. They're second-guessing every move, paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake or drowning in shame. So why does this happen? If we have to understand, we got to try to look at the human nervous system. When children feel emotionally overwhelmed, the nervous system usually chooses one or three paths. Explode, shut down, freeze. Explode, they get louder, faster, and more physical. Shut down, they withdraw, refuse to participate, or stop responding. And freeze, their face goes blank, their body gets still, and they look eerily unaffected. Child who explodes gets immediate support, but the child who freezes receives least support, because adults assume nothing is wrong. Sometimes the child creating the least disturbance in the room is the one working the hardest to try to hold themselves together. So let's shift the approach. We have to become curious before we become corrective. Our natural reflexes as parents or mentors or guardians is to correct the behavior. We want them to answer a question. We want them to stop moping. And we jump straight to correction, but we miss the internal surge that happened right before the silence set in. If that child gets judged while they're already drowning and overwhelmed, they will only sink deeper into that shell. So we need to kind of lead with a gentle curiosity and emotional safety. So imagine like a 7-year-old gets a call, or let's call him DJ. They're sitting at a kitchen table, staring off into space, resisting their homework, completely silent, and their shoulders are tight. You must be sitting there, pick up the pencil and finish. You can't just be sitting there, that's instinctual response. It doesn't really work because it treats a feeling overwhelmed as a discipline problem. So we could try something like this instead. Something about this feels really hard right now. I'm here to help you if you want. You could draw a picture about how you feel, or we could just talk about it. That validates the task feels hard, removes the immediate pressure, and leaves the door open for connection without forcing it. You can imagine the scenario of a teenager with teeth at school earlier today, and later their friends sent a group text saying she was being so sensitive. So she falls completely silent at dinner. It might be, why are you moping around? Don't be so dramatic. It'll blow over tomorrow. That's kind of excuses we give our kids. Kind of invalidating, though, if you think about it. Instead, we could try something like this. You got really quiet. I'm going to give you some space, but I'm here to listen if you'd like to talk about it. Kind of helps with respecting their process. As a teenager, they go through a lot, especially the hormones and stuff. Another teenager, an older one, he found out he was cut from the varsity soccer team. When his parents bring it up, he shrugs, stares at his phone, and utters those dreaded 4 words, "I don't even care." And, I talk about this a lot, about how, being nonchalant is a trauma response, because like people who are like super nonchalant, they care a lot. Like, I always say the phrase, I care enough. And like, I don't care too much, I don't care too less, I care enough. And like, that's the thing. Like, I that's balance there for me. When a person be like, I don't care about nothing, that means you care so much about everything that you just had to say, fuck everything, I don't care about nothing. So confronting, that kind of defense head on, you'd be like, you don't have to talk about it right now, but we can come back to it whenever you're ready. Kind of acknowledge the boundary without kind of challenging it, but you can give them dignity and time. It doesn't mean accepting disrespect, though. Doesn't mean abandoning household expectations or treating every single quiet moment as deep mental health crisis. It simply means like recognizing that you're trying to teach emotional intelligence and grow your child's emotional intelligence. It's easy to realize a child who turns the volume all the way up, but it's really difficult to be intentional about realizing the child that turns it all the way down and freezes. When a child shuts down, they aren't asking you to fix everything in that exact moment. They're kind of just asking to find a safe space, and you can help them by responding calmly, gently, and being curious instead of judgmental and corrective. Because it's like a person who's drowning, you don't need to teach them how to swim right then. It's too late. I'm already drowning. You can't teach me how to swim. You're going to have to save me or let me drown, So just take time with those quiet kids. Moving on, I'm happy to be grateful for being able to create. Recently, I've been creating pieces for my dollhouse. I created a shower recently, and I'm working on another couch. But I think I'm going to get this couch is going to be a sleek couch, so I have to get peel and stick leather fabric, which I think will really work. Because how people have leather patches where you can patch your leather or whatever, and you peel it off and stick it on. I'm going to do that, but for the couch that I created out of a tissue box. It's really cool. It's a Barbie couch. It's really nice. It's nice to just picture something in your head, use what you have and make it reality. And it's calming to create stuff. And I need to work on sewing more clothes for my dolls, though. That's one thing I had to work on. The quote: "Only in my pain did I find my will. Only in my chaos did I learn to be still. Only in my fear did I find my might. Only in my darkness did I see my light." I think that's pretty much explanatory, because you can't have one without the other. But before I go, be sure to check out the show notes. Also, check out my books on Amazon titled Poems to Cry to in the Dark and Love Letter Never Sent to Myself. Will leave a 5-star rating. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I'm glad you're still here, and I hope you have the day you deserve. Bye!
One giant leap
For me!